I'm going to go through results of Pioneer Challenges. So let's go for our breakdown. So what's our agenda? Well, first we'll review the winner of each challenge. So we'll go specifically for just the challenges. We're not going to go general meta. We'll explain who was the winner, who came up on top. Then we'll get a full meta breakdown. So we'll go through the top 8 decks, point out anything unique, and then we'll do a full percentage breakdown of what the challenges for this week look like, so what you might know what to pair if you go in. We'll go through the top 8 notes, e.g. did we find anything new? Was there any new brews? Was there any interesting new tech that we could consider incorporating or should be aware of going forward? And finally, we'll do a quick Niv review of looking at how any of the decks in top 8 are doing and what we can incorporate into our Niv lists or what to consider from there. Alright, with that being said, we can now move on. He says as his slide suddenly freezes. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Okay, so, little scuff there, prove I'm doing this live. Who are our main winners? So we had 3 leagues. First on the 2nd May with 86 players, was won by Niv to Light, our boy represented. Second on the 3rd of May with 78 players, was taken down by Is It Phoenix. And finally, on the same day, there was, in a different time zone, a 74 player event that was also taken down by Niv to Light. So, great time to start doing this. Part of the reason. I've been thinking about it for a while, but these results definitely helped. So, does it feel good to play Niv at the moment? Well, it does. So let's look at the full breakdown. So, of these, you can see here we have very diverse lists. The first event was taken down by Niv, followed by Waste Not, Amelia Combo, another Waste Not, another Niv, Dimir Control, Rakdos Waste Not, and another Amelia Combo. So, it is different lists, but there's very similar things there. So obviously, and that's kind of the theme that goes through many of these results. Next one took down by Is It Phoenix, followed by Gruul Aggro, which is kind of a prowess deck, Amelia Combo, another Is It Phoenix, a Niv to Light, 2 more prowess decks, and a Rakdos traditional mid-range deck. Finally, in the final event of the week, we had Niv to Light taking it down, followed by Red Prowess, an Insidious Root list that we'll dive into. It's actually the standard Sidious Roots list that's running Tyvar and all the creatures that you could surveil out of your graveyard. It was very cool, very interesting to see, and it did very well. Followed by Mono Black mid-range / good stuff. Take 5th was Rakdos Vampires. 6th was Red Green Whack. Now this one was an interesting deck because this was not a traditional red-green prowess / aggro deck. It was designed to build around Burning Shaman. Any of you remember the first historic deck that actually got that card banned, where they want to go Shaman, the Surge Bushwhacker that lets them swing in for aggro. It's also running, as in the same as in Boros, the Gleeful Demolition. It was a very interesting deck to build around. And finally, we had coming in last with a Niv to Light list. So, again, it's diversity within reason. There's definitely some strong hitters. So if we go to percentage breakdown, we see our boy Niv was technically top. It was tied with aggro, but I technically put it at the top because Niv did actually take down a couple of events this week. So Niv and Gruul Aggro had the same percentage share this week of 21%. Amalia came in close with 13%, just beating out Waste Not. That is clumping together the Mono Black Waste Not with the Rakdos Waste Not. Is It Phoenix was underrepresented, and we'll go into that in a little bit, why I think that might be. Then we had all of our unique one-offs that snuck in. So we had the Mono Black, the Insidious Roots, the Dimir Control, Rakdos Prowess, Rakdos Vampires, and Mono Red Prowess. Now you notice a lot of aggro decks in here, which is very interesting. Again, Insidious Roots, the list is really interesting. I think they might have had some good matchups to get where they were. Again, no disrespect to it, it's a really cool list. It's available online if you want to look it up and see how they built it, but definitely good. So, with that in mind, let's jump to the notes from this. So, First thing, all these aggro decks are here because Slick Shot Show Off, the new edition from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, definitely showed off. Those of you don't know, this is a Flying Haste. This is basically the what was the card from Pauper, the cat that you could prowess pump. So yes, whenever it is a 1 in the red for a Flying Haste Bird Wizard. Whenever you cast non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. It also has 1 in the red for plot. So you can plot this early, then zero it in, then just pay tons of spells and get aggro in that way. This card has powered up the prowess decks. It has made Gruul prowess a thing. This card is real. This card will be, I think, kind of the Ledger Shredder of this, ironically because it's a 2-drop bird, but it will be the card that we'll look at and be like, yeah, we should have known this was going to be a staple of the format. It's definitely, I'm 100% a believer in this card. This card has definitely gone up in my estimation. So interestingly enough, we've been seeing a lot of new card from the set. Magebane Lizard. Magebane Lizard. 1 in the red for a 1/4 lizard that has, whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, Magebane Lizard deals damage to that player equal to the number of non-creature spells they have cast this turn. So this has been seen play in the sideboard of the aggro decks and the prowess decks, clearly as a counter to Phoenix's cantrippy nature. 4 toughness means it doesn't die to Fiery Impulse. It's got to be took down with a Lightning Axe. The other thing as well here is this does not specify opponents, so this hits both of you. That's why it's seeing play in the prowess deck, because they will always be ahead on life. So I don't think this is an auto include for everyone, but if you are an aggro deck, even if you just do like 7 or 8 damage and then you throw this down, you are going to severely hamper a lot of spell-based decks, even potentially cripple them. Combine that with your other aggro lists. Other notes I wanted to point out with all the Amelia decks is they are all now running Knight of Dusk Shadow, some in the main, some in sideboard. This is most definitely showing up as the mirror answer to Amalia. Obviously, prevent your opponents from gaining life, but you can still gain life. It's definitely a consideration. If you are struggling against Amalia, this could be something to put in your sideboards. There are some other cards, but this one is definitely the A-star for the mirror match. If you're an Amalia player and you need to know what to do against other Amalia players, definitely go with that. Other big thing I've been noticing is Ashiok has started to show up mainboard in the Phoenix lists. It was originally a sideboard card designed for the mirror match that you would just hose out an opponent and mill yourself, because the way Ashiok is worded, you mill 4 cards, target player mills 4, then you exile all your opponent's graveyard. So you can still just mill yourself, get your Phoenixes in the graveyard. Unfortunately, it's also been discovered that this is really good against Amalia, because Amalia will chord for things and will also try to reanimate if you answer their creatures. I have been hosed with Amalia decks many times where they literally just return to the ranks constantly and just get their board back and combo again. So yeah, Ashiok is a card to think about if you have any to definitely put into your decks. It's not the solid answer to any of the struggles that we're having in the format right now, but definitely one to watch. It's also something to consider and remember. You must remember his static, particularly if he's going to be a mainboard card. I've played into it many times, I hope you don't. PSSA. Finally, we'll go through the full Niv review here. So, Niv to Light is back from Omnath to Light. For those who don't know, prior to the release of this set, Niv to Light decks were really transforming into Omnath decks. It was literally just 4-color Omnaths. They were literally dropping Nivs, and you were seeing in meta breakdowns Omnath to Light decks, just going off the strength of Omnath alone. And we have seen a great resurgence of this. Tons of Niv to Light decks are coming through, definitely confirming Yuri on his kid. Every Niv to Light list that made or won an event this week was an 80 card Yorion list. Now, I don't think that's a problem. I love the companion mechanic, very controversial, But definitely, if you are looking for Niv, the 80 card list definitely appears to be the superior one. However, I do feel very vindicated because Ancient Cornucopia, you've been seeing on my videos, I've been playing with since it was released, which is 2 and a green for a artifact mana rock that you can tap for any color, and once per turn you may gain life equal to the number of colors on the spell that you cast. I've said before, incidental life drain is great, fixing is great. This can potentially gain us 5 life off a Niv. I'm playing it obviously because I'm jamming a Amalia combo shell into my Learn Niv package, but even the main Yorion decks are adopting Ancient Cornucopia, so I feel very vindicated in my opinion that it was very good. We'll talk about now Layla, Undefeated Trick Shot, 1 red and a blue for a human rogue free with prowess, and whenever you cast a multicolored spell, when it's resolved it becomes plotted, so you can cast it again for free on a later turn. I truly believe that she is the reason for the reinnovation of Niv to Light. We are originally, before this, I said they were moving to Omnath shells where they were just running monocolored efficient spells and trying to get there that way, which was pretty good and was working. However, said before, this card is insane. You saw the short I did of just the GIF reaction. She is truly the queen at the moment. She, I think, has been the reason why we're seeing so many people move back to Niv to Light. Now if they stay at Niv to Light, we don't know, but definitely if you are running any Niv shell, you need at least 1 or 2 copies of this card. She is literally that good. Aside from that, as I said before, we've moved back to true 2-color spells. It's been great to see the return of cards like Kolaghan's Command and other stuff that people had cut because they didn't think they were good enough, but now they're good enough with obviously Layla. I said before, module spells with her are insane because you get the instant speed one you want, then you can do it again later. Won't gush anymore over her, see what's going on. Pillage the Bog also makes an appearance. I said before, this is the Assemble the Team Alchemy card remade for Standard. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's not a full play set of anything, it's just a couple of in the deck. I said before, if you have that out with Lelia, it's absolutely insane and really good. And it's good to just dig for answers. And it's something you can hit off Niv to grab for later. So, again, a 1 or 2 of. Maybe going to be cut in the future, but still pretty solid. But again, as a card I identified as really good in the set, I feel very vindicated with this. Finally, I wanted to point out that I noticed a lot of the Niv decks in these events were playing Quakebringer as the answer to Amalia, because it prevents your opponents from gaining life and continuously domes them for 2 damage. If the Quakebringer is on the on the battlefield or in your graveyard, and you can foretell it. The interesting thing about this, I'm not as sold on this card. I think that we would probably be better off running the Knight, because 5 mana is really a lot for the deck, and Amalia does have lines where she can combo on turn 3 if she gets a perfect hand and we don't have interaction. Now obviously Quakebringer is great to deal with the late game, but at the same time the Knight does the same job for more efficient, unless I'm not seeing something about some interactions with the Quakebringer. Obviously it feels good to get it off the Bring to Light, I guess, but at the same time, just having, I think, access to the Knight might be a better sideboard option, if I'm truly honest. But that's our full review of the this week's breakdown. We'll have another one next week. I'll try to get the synergies going down and find out how things work. But that's the current state of Pioneer. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you're enjoying Pioneer at the moment, and are you going into these events? Later.